Do you trust the BBC?
No.
How do you feel knowing that your licence fee money may have gone to the member of a Hamas family?
I'm not that bothered about Hamas, that particular Hamas representative.
Do you think if you were Jewish, you might be more bothered? What do you think of the BBC? According to our polling, 92% of British Jews rate the BBC's coverage of matters of Jewish interest as unfavourable. So I'm here to speak with the general public to see what they think. Are we rolling? Look at this gentleman. He's making me feel very underdressed right now.
So this is Zora. She's a 1-year-old Harris Hawk.
Wow.
She's just losing all her juvenile colours at the moment. She's going through a molt.
Absolutely gorgeous. Oh.
She likes your microphone.
Do you trust BBC News?
That's a good question. I would say yes and no.
Do you trust it?
Yeah, I would say for the most part, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how to elaborate on that. I guess you have to take everything with a pinch of salt these days.
Do you watch BBC News?
Yes, probably more than any other news.
Really? Why is that?
Just years of watching it. Just, that's what you're brought up with, the BBC News.
It's a national institution.
Yes, News at 9, not used to be, yeah.
Do you trust the BBC?
Yes.
Do you watch the BBC?
Less so. Less frequently than I used to.
Do you trust the BBC?
No.
Why not?
I think they're politically biased. I think, in a way, they feel that too many of their own jobs are on the line if they don't appeal to a certain sector of the political community. I trust the BBC in sort of general entertainment programmes, obviously, but I watch BBC Breakfast mostly for the local news rather than listen to their opinions. And I switch over quite often to other channels.
The Glastonbury incident where they broadcast Bob Vylan's set, he chanted death, death to the IDF. There were senior BBC staff on the ground who could have pulled the plug and stopped it, but they did allow it to continue. Do you think that was right?
No, I don't think that's right. I think that hate speech across any platform is completely unacceptable. It's not acceptable.
Why do you think they might have done it? And I don't have the answer myself.
Yeah, I mean, I do always see the best in people, so I assume that it's just sort of, it was an oversight. There wasn't someone watching particularly closely. Like, I can only imagine that, like, we've all been at the start of our career, maybe we're just sort of, we get the Glastonbury gig, we get to watch everything being broadcast, and I hope that maybe it was just sort of a lack of understanding about what had been broadcast, someone not watching, someone on a tea break or something. I can only hope that that's the scenario.
I'm going to dash your hope. It was senior staff who had been there a long time, unfortunately. Okay. Do you sort of feel like calls for death should be allowed on like national live news?
No, there's no need for anything like that. It's when you go in places like TV and stuff, and you're on stage, you're supposed to be an icon to younger generations. Obviously, chanting things like that, there's time and a place for things, and I can understand why people aren't happy about it, especially in the place that you've done it.
I think it's disgraceful, absolutely disgraceful, and I think people should be made to resign. I think unforgivable. It's nobody, everybody's entitled to a view, but to have that on public display, and broadcast to millions of people is simply wrong. And somebody should have stepped in immediately.
But they have control, so they could have stopped it if they wanted to.
Do you think they should have?
Yes, I think they should. I'm not saying I approve of what's happening, and I don't want to get political, but you have to draw a line somewhere because it's a public service. So some people will think, oh, that's right, but other people will object. But since we all pay our money for the BBC, then they need to be able to look like they are being fair across the board.
There is absolutely zero cognizance from the BBC in particular that the message that they're purveying, you take Glastonbury, for example, has a direct impact on anti-Semitism on our streets. And that is a hugely irresponsible mindset for them to have. Very irresponsible guidelines for their journalistic integrity.
BBC earlier this year aired a documentary about Gaza. The narrator in the documentary was the son of a Hamas official. Hamas in this country is a banned terrorist organisation. It was later revealed that licence fee money went to that family. So license fee money that the British public pays went to the family of a terrorist, basically. What do you make of that? And it sort of, does it concern you that your license fee money, assuming you pay the license fee, went to the family of a terrorist?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the licence fee's there for whatever their reason is, not to be funding things like that. Doesn't make me very happy to hear that my money's going somewhere like that, especially when, as far as a lot of people are concerned, the TV licence is becoming obsolete. A lot of people don't want to pay it or are not paying it. Obviously, there's a lot of streaming things these days, so if the money's going to places like that, you can't expect people to be happy about it.
How do you feel knowing that your license fee money may have gone to the member of a Hamas family?
Yeah, not great. Not great, of course. I mean, yeah, that's it with the government, isn't it? It's just, yeah, okay. When I say pinch of salt at the beginning about the BBC, maybe a lot of
Fist
salt.
of salt, yeah.
A bag of salt, a sack of it, yeah.
They didn't do their due diligence. They didn't check out who they were interviewing, so, which is their mistake, isn't it?
Can I ask if that concerns you, that license fee money sort of went to the family of a Hamas member?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Only because, you know, it was kind of fixed in a way, you know. Yeah, definitely.
Can you sort of expand a bit about that when you say it was fixed?
Well, obviously they were very much wanted to produce pro Gaza without the balance, and people get paid for it.
There's a slight slip-up by the BBC, a slight technical slip-up that he didn't check in the way that it's meant to. But I wouldn't put an enormous amount of weight on it or complaint against the BBC for doing that.
It was a slip-up, that's true, but that slip-up resulted in license fee money going to a Hamas family, and Hamas is a terrorist group here. Is that concerning at all?
I don't think I care very much, because it wouldn't be very much. Not worried about Hamas very much. I mean, it was kind of, oh God, really, how stupid of them not to get that. But it wasn't much more than that. But that's because I'm not Jewish, you know. I don't, and I'm not Palestinian. I certainly feel very strongly about what's happening in Gaza and the West Bank. But I'm not that bothered about Hamas, that particular Hamas representative.
Do you think if you were Jewish, you might be more bothered?
I might well be, yeah, but that would be because of who I would be, and I'm not that, and I'm I suppose you could say non-partisan in that respect.
There's so much misinformation and so much falsehood in what they're reporting that it antagonises me more as a former journalist than it does as a consumer. Actually, I find the standards have slipped so far that it's just not a worthy news service for me to digest.
X% of Britain's Jewish community feels that the BBC's coverage of matters of Jewish interest are unfavourable. What do you think X% might be?
I couldn't tell you, to be honest with you.
So it's 92%. Does that sort of surprise you?
It does actually, yeah.
60%.
It's actually 92%.
Oh wow, okay.
Does that surprise you?
Yes.
Why does that surprise you?
Well, it's a huge number.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Do you have any sort of thoughts as to why it may be so high?
Absolutely none, except obviously slight bias maybe, but I would have never guessed it was that number.
Hi. I'd go 80.
92.
Okay.
And that's almost all of the community. But you did say high, so I feel like you already had a feeling that it might be. Why do you think that?
Yeah, well, this is why I talk about take things with a pinch of salt. This is kind of what I had in mind.
I imagine it's pretty high.
Do you want to take a shot?
I reckon it's probably 80%.
It's 92.
Wow, okay,
Which
yeah.
is almost the whole of the community.
Yeah.
What you said you imagine is pretty high. Why did you have that hunch?
I have friends who are Jewish, and I think they were pretty angry about how this whole situation has been covered widely across different media outlets, but I think specifically the BBC as well.
I would say it's over 90%.
It is. It's 92%. You're absolutely right, and you don't seem shocked by that. Can I ask why?
Because I think particularly in recent months it's got worse. The Glastonbury incident was appalling, and I think if I was a member of the Jewish community I would be horrified at it, and I think they've got every right to be horrified at it.
What do you think needs to change?
I think we need far more oversight, that it needs to be far more engagement with the community and implement the advice and the feedback they're getting from that community. If there was any other community that was feeling this vulnerability and feeling this hurt and pain, and we can pretend all we like that when people talk about Zionists, they mean Zionists. We all know what it means. So there needs to be more engagement, much more understanding, much more desire to understand how what they are broadcasting, what they are printing and publishing is having a direct impact on the community, which forms part of the wider community, which is all of us, every man, woman and anything else in this country who is consuming their information. They have a responsibility to safeguard them, not just in respect of the information they're purveying being accurate and balanced, but also the impact that information and that broadcast has on those communities and how there might be knock-on effects, not just on what they broadcast, but thereafter, and how other people consuming that might respond.
The BBC is a national institution, but if entire communities are feeling misrepresented, we need to ask, who is it that the BBC does represent? It raises bigger questions and demands bigger answers. If you like videos like this, don't forget to like it, share it with a friend, and subscribe or follow for more.